today with Steve. And Steve, very easy starter question for you. Say your name, where you're from, where you live now, and what your job title is.
Yeah, of course. I am out of Provo, Utah, so just in Utah one. Been in the mortgage industry for 17 years now. Job title is just branch manager slash loan originator.
Gotcha. Very good. Well, you and I are in the same boat, producing branch managers. Those are, I call that leading from the front. You show it how it's done, and then you can help other people in your branch do it better. So I love that already. So how did you get started 17 years ago? Did you start on the ops side or the sales side, or you tripped into it, or how did it work?
I had a good friend that I saw that was having success. And so I asked him what he did, and he was like, I do mortgages. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And he was like, you should come interview. So I went in, I interviewed, they hired me that day, and they threw me into the wolves right away. They're like, hey, here you go. This phone's going to ring. You better answer it. So that's how it went. I learned a lot very quickly. It was mostly in the VA space. We did a lot of VA streamlines. That's what he did. And that's where I learned that, and then just transitioned to
that
different.
That would have been 2009, something like that.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so you're cutting your teeth, you're doing VA loans, and all of a sudden we go to the Great Recession of the mortgage business. Is that kind of how that went? I mean,
yes, correct. Yeah. But at the time, there was still opportunities to do them. So even during the recession, it was good. So kept continuing to do those. And then we kind of transitioned to the company, and they went with kind of a streamlined division and a purchase refi division. And they had me and another gentleman just branch off to do what's called the full file division over the refis. And that's probably where I learned 95% of my things was just dealing with other people's issues, because that's all you see as a manager is issues. You don't really see the fun rainbows and butterflies. You see mostly just the terrible loans. So that's where I learned really quickly to figure out what I needed to do and do well, and what not to do. So
first, really, you had to figure out call reluctance, right? So you didn't have any call reluctance because you were probably outbound calling for BAs, or were they calling you, or how did that work?
A little bit of both up front. They did a lot of mailing, so a lot of it was inbound, but mostly, you're following up with those people. So yeah, in the beginning, it was just a lot of calls coming in. Currently, it's not that way, but when I started, it was.
When you started, yeah, yes. Right on. And then you kind of kept on in that refi space, probably DU refi plus time, right? As that came into the picture in 11 and 12. And then after that, did you transition into purchase, or what was that life cycle like for you?
Yeah, once we started the full file division is what they called it. We started to make traction and really love that side of the business. It was still a lot off of the mailer, because a lot of that transitioned to the refi, and then people would call in and say, hey, I'm looking to purchase. Do you guys do purchases? So that was that. And then we started to mail heavily on purchase leads and kind of transition to that.
Do you do that to this day? Are you guys still kind of in that?
No. That was
at some point, Steve went from being an inbound call guy to having to go be outbound, go find it, hunt it, kill it, and bring it home kind of guy. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think over the years, a big part of my business, I mean, we've transitioned to all types of loans now. I still do VAs, but most of my business is conventional or FHA with it. But a lot of my clientele is referrals, to be 100% honest. I love being involved in my process from start to beginning, or start to finish, I guess, with it, which is unique. The more loan officers I talk about, they're like, you still talk to the client the whole way? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm weird. I have good relationships with these people. These people become friends, really. Most, right? There are some mean clients that probably don't want to be friends with me, but it's okay, right? But that's really, hey, my brother's buying, my sister's buying, my neighbor's buying. And when they hear someone buying or refinancing, they give them my info. And still people will reach out, even when they're not buying or selling. They'll send me something that we had a conversation about. So I don't know. I've just tried to really broaden being there the whole step of the process just because it's a big transaction. So yeah, that's really my big.
So your kind of superhuman strength is being able to connect on a deeper level than just the loan side of things. Because if they're calling you to talk about something they're excited about outside of mortgage, then you must have built a deep connection with them, right?
Yeah. I mean, one I always think of is a guy, he bought a house and the lady left 3 cats. She just left them in the house. So I sent him a bunch of funny like coupons for cat food and stuff, and catnip and all that. And he just cracks up and he'll like randomly send a picture of his cat and is like, hey, like they're still here. They're not my cat. It's just fun banter. I don't want him to dread my phone call. And during the process, I'm communicating with the whole time. So yes, if something bad comes up, they still don't. I'm already talking to them, so it's not an issue and it's not like ghosting someone or something like that. So trying to be connected throughout the whole process is really what I focus on.
So your database, so are you just calling your customers to stay in touch? Are you mailing? Are you using a CRM? I mean, kind of how are you doing that? If that's your primary source of business, and what would you say that percentage is of database referrals or database?
So I'm always staying in contact with them via just online. So a lot of it's, dripping emails from there. I'll also just do my due diligence to go back and kind of check on them to see how they're doing. So a lot of it's, some of it's manual, but some of it's me setting up follow-ups with the client in our CRM. So that's something that I'll do on my side. I would say referrals, man, that's a good question. Probably 30%. I'm doing other business with real estate agents, podcasts, things like that are driving business. I have some great builder relationships that have really started to expand, and finding good builders to work with has really been a key piece to even keep moving it to the next level. But even through the builder relationship, I mean, that opens up the door to the referral source. But as many referrals I can get, they are the best client by 100%.
I know, I love them too. I mean, it's the best compliment you can get is somebody who refers their family to you or a friend and says, call Steve, he'll take great care of you, right? I love that so much. It's a good day when that happens. So talk to me. So podcast, that's different. And then you got into marketing to agents. I'm sure that you worked with some of these clients, and then did you nurture those agent relationships and then they became, referral partners of yours? Kind of how did that evolve for you?
Yeah, most of the time I'll contact the buyer and seller just to keep them in contact and let them know. I don't think sometimes the seller's surprised when you give them a call just to give them an update to let them know. So I think it's hitting both sides, the buyer and the seller, and communicating more than you should. I like to over communicate. So a lot of times when an agent will call me back and say, hey, you did a great job. You gave me more communication than my current lender. I'd love to try you out. That's a compliment. So definitely a lot of those have come by just simple communication during the process for it there. So yeah, that's been a key piece. And then just following up with them. They like to be heard. Agents, you got to be top of mind. So you've always got to be reaching out to them before they reach out to you. They'll forget about you. So definitely it's taking the time to reach out to them on a timely basis.
Love that. So then you start a podcast. What's your podcast about? What's kind of the skinny there?
It's not me. My podcast, I advertise on a podcast. So let's get that. So I'm not that cool, but I advertise on a podcast. And I did the loan for the person that runs the podcast. And then as leads have come through, he'll have the people talk about their experience. So it's just a one-on-one thing that people trust there. So he has certain businesses and he'll really only advertise people that he's done business with personally and that have a good reputation, so that people have a good expectation as they do it. So yeah, awesome. Not me personally, but my name is on it and he talks about me and his experiences. So a little bit different. I wish I had a podcast, but no, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah,
okay,
maybe.
So then now you've developed into the builder space. What's your advice if a loan officer is reading this and like, I'd love to land a builder account? What did it take you a long time? Did you come by accident? I mean, did you meet a customer and then they introduced you? I mean, how did that work for you to get that opportunity, or was it through your company? How did that work?
Builders have been through my company. It took them a long time to get the door open. Personal ones, I have a few that I have, but a lot of them were driven through the company, helping me have success to get into the door. Because if you tried to work with a builder, it is hard to get in touch with the correct person that makes that decision with a builder. So getting in touch with the correct individual with the builder will take you forever. But if you can get in good graces with them, it'll go a long ways.
Yeah.
And then
Are you
also
doing construction perm loans, or are you just doing the takeouts for these builders?
both. We do both
Both.
of them. So
Yeah.
some we'll do a construction perm, or some just need the permanent financing. So yeah, that's been a good piece of the puzzle. We just barely started doing construction loans, and 6 months ago. So
it's new.
Yeah, super new. So maybe it's been longer than that, but starting to do the residual of those clients that have built, and now it's being completed. So, but yeah, it just takes time, and you've got to really follow up and be on the good side of the sales agent, because the head guy might like you, but you got to have the sales agent like you also.
Yes, you have to go ground from the footings to the head of house, right? I mean, you have to market both directions. I think that's true.
100%.
Yeah. So, okay. So has there ever been a time in the business that you're like, okay, I'm kind of freaked out. Should I really be doing this job? I mean, I think any top originator that I've talked to, they're not like, it's always been the same and I've always made the same money. There's been times that they had to retool their business or kind of pivot their business to learn and go through different cycles, right? Whether it was the crash or a pandemic or the taper tantrum of 22. I mean, there was something, or personally maybe in your life, that you felt like had to overcome in order to, continue to succeed in this business.
I think that every day, to be honest.
That's very truthful.
What am I doing? No, I'm just kidding. The hard part about mortgages, you have zero control of a big piece of your selling puzzle, which is an interest rate. You can be the best salesperson in the planet, but an 8 interest rate is really tough to sell. So yes, you have ebbs and flows. You need to understand that it's not always rainbows and butterflies. You got to just definitely set aside money for the ebbs and flows of it. I feel like the last 2 years have been one of the toughest, but it really just coming to work and having a positive attitude as you talk to people, and just having a game plan for them. They need it, right? They need a home. They're calling you. Yes, the payment might be high, but we can figure out ways to make it work. So definitely, I love numbers. I'm a numbers nerd. I love giving people options, and I think that goes a long way with most clients. Some clients don't care, let's be honest, right? But a lot of them are number driven. So if you can connect with them and understand what they're looking for, it makes your job easier. But yeah, mine is just, I enjoy the relationships long term with people, even though it's a short term transaction. I enjoy just that next level of relationships.
Yeah. So one thing I love to hear from originators, and for me, it's evolved over my career, but what is your why in this business? Why, on your hardest days, do you put your boots on the ground to do it all again? And it can be anything. I mean, money's fine. I love to help customers. That's fine. I have little kids and they depend on me, or I have big kids and they want to go to college. I mean, I've heard it all. Or, I'd like to go and someday I dream of going to the Super Bowl and sitting in a box suite. And the only way I'm going to do that is by working my guts out, and someday being able to pay all my bills and all the things and have extra dues. I mean, what's your why? What makes you, on your hard days when somebody says, I don't like that interest rate, and you've worked your guts out and made 17 calls in a week to them, and you thought they were going to move forward and they don't? What charges you up to get doing it again?
Yeah, 100% is my family. I mean, you always want to provide for your family. I grew up always staying busy and working, and I had 2 jobs and I went to school, so I was always gone or being busy. This job, you can do that. If you're here, you can make things work. So I like being busy, and this industry will keep you busy. There's always things changing, evolving, and nothing's the same. So you really can't get bored, which some days I wish I was, but definitely not. So yeah, definitely, yeah, you have a great opportunity to make good money. The last piece is when you go to someone first time home buying, go to their closing with them, you see the nerves from the beginning to the excitement at the end. It's fun to see because you remember yourself when you bought your first house because you really have no clue what you're doing when you buy your first house. Like even me, and I was like, "What am I doing?" So you can be a resource for them, even if they're having issues. There's many times people will say, "Hey, without you, I would have been lost." That's the best compliment they could say because honestly, every call I say there is not a stupid question. They always say, "Oh, it's a dumb question." It isn't because you don't know. It's not a dumb question. Ask me because at the end you'll be like, "Wow, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm getting into." So yeah, I don't know. A little bit of it's like when you mow your lawn, right? You see the lines at the end. You're like, "Man, that looks good." You know, it is. That's what a mortgage is. You got to
I
make sure
think
it's good.
that's really good advice for an originator is remember how you move, whether you own a home today or not. Whenever you moved, it's messy, it's dirty, it's chaotic. And in addition to that, now they're having to provide you all of this documentation. They don't understand the process. I mean, they're a doctor, they're a hairstylist, they're a firefighter, they're a policeman, they're an insurance agent. They have their own specialty, but it's not home loans. And so sometimes I think originators in general kind of get, we forget that other people don't do this for a living, right? And to your point, there's no question I wouldn't answer, and for someone, and I would never think it was dumb if they asked it because I want to help them feel good about what they're deciding to do. And then to your point about folks that, they're like, wow, I don't know if I can afford a home right now. I think that we have to, as originators, stay focused on why they wanted to buy the home in the first place. They came to you for a reason. And I think some of the stuff with to your point, you don't control interest rates, right? We don't control that. But a lot of good originators have come up with options for temporary buy downs or, using incentives to help buy down the interest rate. But staying focused on why they initially wanted to buy the house, I think is really solid advice that you gave there. And then, so do you talk about having a family?
Yeah.
Do you have work hours or are you like, because you're very connected to your clients, do you have like, I'm on call pretty much 24/7 or how do you balance all that?
To be honest, I try to be available as much as possible. Definitely, people notice that and they respect it. I think when you don't answer, that's when they kind of try to push the barrier. But I know a lot of times that people are available are the times that I'm home. So I still always make it a priority, or I'll at least send them a message back saying, "Hey, I'm out with my family. Can I give you a call in an hour or two?" And everybody will be, "Oh, that's great. Thank you." Because they're that's their top of their mind. So
Right.
they want to make sure that you know that they're there and you're ready for them. My wife's a really patient lady. I'm very lucky because there's a lot of people that probably be divorced with how many hours I worked through COVID. I had a baby through COVID. That was terrible. That was not. I wouldn't recommend that. There were many times I was still working and she would go to sleep and then feed the baby and then go to sleep and I'm still working.
Working.
So that was I aged. As you can see, there's lots of gray in my beard. This is from COVID. I used to look young, not
That's COVID
anymore.
hair. That's COVID gray.
Yes, yes.
Right
No,
on.
I worked way too much, but you had to. You had to be it, and you knew it was coming to an end, so you need to take advantage of it. And if you need to be available, coming to an office and being prepared to work goes a long ways. Even if you're slow, I come to the office every day. I work my hours. I always am available. Things happen when you're there. When you're home or away, things slip through the cracks and you just can't have the same success. That's my opinion. Other people may
Yeah.
be different. I have 3 kids, so home's not quiet. That is I need a place that's quiet and to be able to maintain my focus. So,
Yeah. I think that you bring up a really good point. You're like, whether I'm busy or whether I'm slamming busy or I'm slow, I'm trying to keep my work life the same for me. You need structure around your work life versus another originator. Like, I'm fine with chaos. Like, I can deal with chaos. I excel in chaos. I'm much like you. I kind of like to be able to be at the office and have hours, but my phone is always with me, and I'm always available. But I love that you're like, hey, if a customer calls me and I'm going to recognize that, go back to doing what I'm doing with my family and have my dinner with my family or what have you, and then let them know. And that's what I've experienced. Most people are good with, if you just tell them, they're fine. They don't freak out then and wonder, gosh, Steve didn't pick up my call. Maybe he didn't answer me. I got to call someone else. I got to get an answer, right? And so I think that that's really good advice is, hey, just set the right expectation. Most people are nice people. They understand that you have a life outside of your job, but they just need an answer. So if you give them that kind of response and then follow up, which is key, then it's fine. Yeah, I like that, and I agree with you. I think that that's how to survive in the mortgage business. Your marriage will not survive probably if you're leaving the table to go talk about whatever it is at that very moment. It probably won't. So
100%.
cool. Okay, let's see. Was there a mentor in your career that really helped guide you? That you're like, this person either the integrity of the business, the marketing of the business, or how to do mortgages taught you? Or did you just like School of Hard Knocks? Here you go. Here's a book. Here's an MRI book back in the day.
I think the guy that I co-managed with back at my last company, he gave me the opportunity. He saw that I could do, and he was always there to help answer questions and you know what I mean, and help give me the right resource of like, look here, look there. I've also worked with some great underwriters over the years that are willing to chat with me, have an open conversation. I'm lucky with my current company; they have that. They have that. Hey, I got this question, and they'll snip a guide to me and send it. It just goes a long ways with just having people that have the same mindset of you as, let's get this loan closed. And you can run into many underwriters that want power or think that they're right. But there are many underwriters I work with that are like, hey, this doesn't work. Try this. And I'm like, wow, okay, perfect. Thank you. That goes a long ways. So yeah, mainly probably the gentleman, he was great. Just a good dude, just fun to work with, understood business and life and family, and trying to find that happy medium. I don't know if you'll ever find that happy medium in mortgage, but if you can get close to it, I think you're doing well.
Yeah. Work-life balance. One of the top originators I spoke with, they said that's not really a thing, but I think, setting appropriate expectations and trying to find that happy medium, as you say, is key to surviving long-term in the business, because the business will take as much as you'll give it. And so you have to find that barrier for you and the way you can manage it for yourself. So that's really solid advice. So what does a typical day look like for you? What's your kind of MO? Like, do you have any non-negotiables? You're like, I must do this every single day for my business to thrive, or every week, or if I don't do this, I have to work Saturday because I have to button my week up. What's that look like to you? Do you have any non-negotiables in your week?
No, I don't. I wish I was more organized. A lot of it's based off my calendar. As I've gotten older, I schedule everything out. I schedule my calls. I schedule my appointments. I schedule time so I am heavily based out of my calendar, and that is why I like it. So if someone calls me, I can answer it and say, hey, I have an appointment in 3 minutes. I can talk to you for a few minutes, but then could I call you after? People respect that. I mean, we're in an industry just like a lawyer. I know we're not that cool, but at the same time, they schedule appointments and people show up, right? So I feel like I've done better at communicating with people, stating that I do have other people, and I'll give them the same respect that I'm going to give you. I'm going to set a time. I'm going to call you on time. We're going to have a good conversation, and we're going to go from there. So most of mine is scheduled, and then I do a lot of follow-up, and then during the process, every step of the way from submitted to processing to submitted to underwriting, appraisal, underwriting, I'm picking up the phone and calling them just to give them a update and give them kind of information so that they don't feel lost. Anytime you do any transaction, if you don't hear from someone, you think the worst. So by even just telling them, hey, the appraisal came back, doesn't mean much, right? Like it's like, okay, we're good,
Yeah.
or hey, I submitted it to this, I submitted to my processor. Just hearing from you can go a long ways in the process going smoother and the client being happier with the process. So, I mean, those are my main things. I won't
I love
leave
that.
until I have most things done, but I'll schedule it out if I need to leave.
Awesome. Awesome. So mostly purchase business now, a little bit of refi, mostly purchase. That's kind of the standard for the last couple of years that to survive in this business when 46% of our peers did not keep their licenses. So that's good. And your biggest source of business today is your database or your sphere of influence, those
100%.
clients you've been able to help. Okay, cool. And then let's see here. Any tech that you use or system other than your Outlook calendar that you're like, if I didn't have this, my life would be kind of crunched. I mean, in the business, or do you just really think it's the managing from your calendar? That would be the most awful thing that could happen. You have to go back to old school, like,
Paper. Yeah. To be honest, I still write notes as I talk to people. I'm huge into it, and my notes are probably sloppy, but they mean a lot to me with it. But a lot of the times I'll note it in my calendar follow up or in the CRM. But I am, yeah, see, I have notes too. So
Yep.
it's,
See, you and I are the same. Yes. I have a circle if it's still an open thing, a check
yep.
mark if I finished it. And at the end of the day, I can see like, oh, I mean, it's such a simple system, and it's not technology, but it does work for me. So I know that who I committed to do stuff for during the day.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I'll go back and I'll write me a to-do list every day. So
Yeah.
give me that, and then I can come start the first day and go, okay, I need to call Joe. I need to do this. I need to do that. So I'm a little old school like you, but calendar has helped because I'll put all my notes in there too, and so it pops up and I know exactly what I'm talking about. But I do jot notes during my phone call. I probably will until I die. That's just the
That's
world
how
that
you are. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Well, that helps the memory too as we get older and get that
Yep.
gray hair going on. So yes. Okay. So if you had to start from scratch today, like what would you tell an originator? Like you just got your license, now go. I mean, you're a branch manager now. So maybe if you hired a newbie, what's your advice?
So tell them not to do it. No, I'm just kidding. Do something else. Run. No, I would probably. Main thing I tell them is you're going to fail multiple times. You're not going to be a great originator for 1 or 2 years. You're going to learn things on every loan. First 10 people you talk to will probably have bad credit and not work, but that's how it is. That's how you get used to it. Just understand that it takes X amount of fails to get a yes. And if you can get to those no's as quick as possible, that yes will come for it. I think sometimes people think it's rainbows and butterflies, but it definitely isn't. It's a grind. There's a lot going on, and just be prepared and understand that you're not failing, you're learning. That's the key piece. And the worst thing they could say is no to you, because that just gets you closer to that yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have to have a lot of no's. You have to have a lot of, kiss some frogs before you get your prince, the first loan you get that you can actually do. But I just found gratitude in all those opportunities I got, every opportunity I got. I just had such gratitude. I wrote thank you notes for, clients that had 400 credit scores, just to say thank you for the opportunity, because I was grateful that they thought of me, and a lot of my business, I just really felt like between gratitude and abundance, I feel like you can get through a lot of this business if you believe there's more. Scarcity breeds scarcity. And that's why those of you that have stayed in the business and have built a business, even in adverse times, I think that's because you believe there's more, and that you can help more people, and you want to be part of the American dream. And that's why I think, and those of us that love the mortgage business and have stayed in this crazy industry, we tell others to run away because it is almost cult-like. I mean, you're in it every day, and you're always thinking about ways you can help more homeowners or ways you can generate more business. You wake up without a paycheck if you're a loan officer, and so it's go time every day, right? And so I feel blessed that the business provides that to us. But anyways, I love that advice. Start from scratch, run away first. Oh, just kidding. No, get as many no's as you can because your yeses will come. Yes. And fail forward, right? Every time you learn in this business, the more transactions you can touch, the more clients you can talk to, the faster your business will grow because you'll learn more. There's just so many nuances to the business. I mean, Steve's been in 17 years. I've been in 30 years and I'm still learning. There's new guidelines like what, almost
daily.
I don't know, every month. I mean, we find something new that changes in this business, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So how about a mid-level LO that's like, they're kind of stuck at that kind of 2 units a month, maybe 3 units a month, and they really want to push it to that next level, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. What's your advice that they've got to do in order to push through that?
I think your next thing is trying to go back to any agent you've worked with and just try to drive a relationship, follow up with them. I think that's your next piece to get to that next level. Because if you're stuck at that 1 or 2, a lot of them probably not sending you business. So if you can go back and try to follow up with them, see if they want to go to lunch, see if you can provide them with something, see if they, work up a flyer that you send out weekly or text weekly, something that keeps you top of mind so that they have an opportunity to think of you to send you business. So, I mean, if you're doing 1 or 2, you've got a lot of downtime, so that you should be able to use that downtime to create something that could be helpful to them. The guideline changes, like you say, we get 1 a week. Let them know, see if that opens up a door for one of their clients that's top of mind that says, oh, well, now you can use rental income on this. Wow, cool. I have, Mark, I'll send him your way. So
Yeah.
I think by just giving them information, not just like, hey, you should use me, they're never going to use you. You got to give them information. And even if you call them for a year, they might not use you. One of these days they may, and find a niche that they can remember you by. Is it your Rockstar Conventional or FHA, or you love USDA loans? Finding one of those niches. There are plenty of agents that send me VA deals because they remember I only did VAs for a long time. So that would be a niche there. So yeah, just trying to figure out what you want to do to get to the next level.
Well, and some of those relationships, to your point, could take a year to
Yeah,
win the business. So don't stop. One time is never enough. And probably, 5 or 6 reach outs is never enough. If there's somebody you really want to work with and you want them to be a part of your business and you want to enrich their business, then it's worth your time to continue to nurture, market, and work towards that business. I think, like you said, it could take a year before their current lender either retires or they don't offer that product anymore, or you offer a product that they do need that they can't get elsewhere, right?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, and there are many that will never send you anything. You just have to be okay with it.
So what do you think the most common mistake for LOs is that holds them back from maybe their greatness?
That's a good question. I think sometimes people struggle with the no and not using it as a positive. They take it as a negative. I think I've seen that many times where people are just down in the dumps with, like you gave the scenario, you've sent that guy 17 emails and he goes a different direction. That can be a lot of time and it can really hurt your, flow of the day. You just got to be able to know that, okay, he said no, but I'm going to fill it with 2 other loans that are even better. You know what I mean? So
the rebound is more important than the fall, right?
Yep. Yeah. 100%. So, and I think sometimes just being willing to be available and work, that's a huge piece of the puzzle. But yeah, a lot of it's just rebounding from the no's. It's hard. It's life, right? No's never good in anything.
Nobody likes no. I mean,
No.
toddlers don't like it. Teenagers don't like it. I don't like it. Steve doesn't like it. But it's part of life, right?
Yep,
It's part
100%.
of learning how to deal. So what are you most proud about in your career so far that you're like, I'm proud of that's something I'm proud of that I did.
Things that I like are people that I worked with or worked for me that have had success. There was one of my loan officer assistants. He started his own mortgage company, and that is so cool to see. From him coming as my LOA to a loan officer to now starting his own mortgage broker, it's cool to see that the hard work and determination and the things that I helped him, he's done way more than to get where he is. But at the same time, to give him the opportunity so that he could do that is just a cool experience.
I love that. I love it a lot. So when people talk about your career, what do you hope they remember about your career when you're all done and out?
I just have fun. There are multiple people in my office that are like, you don't even look like you did that many loans last month. And I'm like, well, I just had fun, right? I came in, I am here, I don't get paid. I just here to make, jokes for people, but you're here all day. Enjoy it, right? There's some people that just are beat down. So I try to come with a fairly positive attitude and just be a resource. I will answer anybody's questions company wide. I'll have people call and ask me questions. I don't mind. If I know the answer, I'll give it to you. If I don't, I'll be the first one to tell you, hey, you should probably ask.
Dump me on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't expect to know everything. I'm glad I don't know everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I just, to make work fun is what I want people around me that I work with. Like, man, that guy was real fun to work with. I miss him here. That's all I care about.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so in the book, if there's one thing, maybe a question that you think I should have asked you, what do you think anything I missed, maybe that you think would be good to share? I mean, we've got lots of little nuggets. Anything I missed?
No, I think you hit it on the head. Just expect mortgage to be a grind. It's never rainbows and butterflies. It's always going to be an uphill battle and ebbs and flows.
Top originators are not working 20 hours a week, friends. They don't work. They work a lot of hours to be top originators.
You got to give up things, but you have a great opportunity to have things that you wouldn't have in other industries. So you've got to be able to give and take. So definitely, I'm trying to think of anything else. Yeah. I mean, you got to enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy loans, you shouldn't do it. So you've got to have a purpose behind doing origination besides money. That's my opinion. If it's just money, you'll never.
Money will come as a product of the business. I've never really worried about that. That's always been. I always knew if I did the right thing by people and I showed up every day and I worked hard and put processes and system in place that I could get, that the business would come as a result of that. I know it sounds crazy, like you can manifest it into reality, but if you're willing to work really hard and you see it in your head and you write it down on paper, I really do believe that you can reach any goal you want. But it's a matter of those integral pieces all coming together and you be willing to grind and hustle through that process to win. And so, as Steve said, be okay with the no's. The yeses will come, and eventually you will win in this business if you show up and have a good time at work. So I like that. Did I get it all, Steve?
Nailed it. Now, I'm nothing special. Everybody can do way better than me. I know that. It's just enjoying what you do. It shows when you talk to people. They can feel your energy on the phone. They can tell if you're angry, mad, sad, and they have enough going on in their lives. Make the experience good.
Love it. I love it. Well, so nice to meet you.